A high-profile summit, Taiwan is expected to be high on the agenda as U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping meet ahead of the G-20. Well in the seas off Taiwan, Chinese and Taiwanese Navy destroyers face off in a high-stakes battle of wills. In Kinmen, county chief candidates are pitting their platforms on reopening links with China. Plus,
the Formosa Railroad Bento Festival has kicked off in Taipei on Friday, but this time will also be a farewell event for one iconic meal.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. Taiwan is expected to be high on the agenda at a meeting between U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Monday. The leaders of the world's two largest economies are meeting ahead of the G-20 summit in Bali, Indonesia. Biden says he wants to establish, quote, red lines to prevent conflicts breaking out between Washington and Beijing. The two-day G-20 summit will see officials from the world's 20 largest economies meet to address major issues. These include climate change, the risk of global recession, North Korea's nuclear threats, and the ongoing war in Ukraine. Taiwan's President Tsai met with representatives of the Center for American Progress on Monday morning in Taipei. The U.S.-based think tank's chair, Tom Daschle, is currently leading a delegation in Taiwan. In a speech, he said that both countries face many challenges related to the elections they're holding this month. He said that now is a pivotal time for democracies worldwide. Tsai thanked Daschle for his longtime support for Taiwan. She said that Taiwan will continue working to safeguard its democratic values.
台湾位处于威权主义扩张的最前线，我们会持续强化自我防卫能力，也会致力维护区域的稳定和平。
Chinese warplanes fly into Taiwan's air defense zone on a nearly daily basis. The flights are part of what some analysts call gray zone warfare, designed to place constant pressure on Taiwan. But it's not just planes. Beijing is also sailing warships near Taiwan's seas. Stash Butler has the story.
Two Navy destroyers face off in the Taiwan Strait. From China, the Xiamen. From Taiwan, the Ma Gong.
这是马公舰。 你即将进入24海里临界区，请你适时调整航向，以维航行安全。
马国舰，这里是厦门点，你所谓的24海里线不存在，请注意你的用语。我舰在此正常航行。
The video of the two ships' exchange on Thursday has shed light on what some experts describe as grey zone tactics. This is where military units attempt to use non-combat means to wear down a counterpart's defensive forces. More and more often, Beijing is sending warplanes into Taiwan's air defense zone, forcing Taipei to respond. Those flights have caught the world's attention, but China's ships, too, are pushing near to Taiwan. Following international law, Taiwan has defined internal waters and territorial seas. The 12 nautical miles beyond that is its contiguous zone. By law, China's ships can enter the zone for what's known as innocent passage. But China sees Taiwan as part of its territory, so in its view, none of those zones exist. And military analyst Su Ziyun says the voyages by Chinese ships are designed to turn up the pressure on Taiwan.
中共他企图建立所谓新常态，除了台海中线的模糊化之外，对中华民国领海法所规定的这个临界区或者避联区，他也刻意的予忽略。
China's aerial incursions may grab the headlines, but as Su says, another separate grey zone struggle is playing out around Taiwan's seas, and neither is likely to end anytime soon. That's Naya Zhou and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has made many Taiwanese citizens rethink China's threat. Since then, non-governmental organizations focused on training for combat preparation have sprung up across Taiwan. But on the Kinmen Islands, the historical front line between Taiwan and China, people's perceptions are very different from those who live on Taiwan proper. Yu Jinhuang looks into what this means for the country's defense.
The sound of gunfire rings out over a military base on Taiwan's Kinmen Islands. 7 decades ago, this scene would have been a life or death situation. But today, the weapons are only BB guns. the military site has become a tourist spot, and these people are shooting targets just for fun.
我们办这个生存游戏推广教育训练活动呢，主要就是要让金门在地的文化还有战役史迹呢，能够得到一个活化还有保存的效益。大部分好像都是家庭来比较多，就是爸爸妈妈带着小朋友。
Kinmen is less than 10 kilometers off China's southeast coast. For a long time, the island served as a special military zone to prevent a potential invasion of Taiwan. But over the past 2 decades, Kinmen's role as a frontline defender has faded away. Bilateral exchanges between the island and the nearby Chinese city of Xiamen have brought people on both sides closer together. And China's war games around Taiwan in August were not threatening to most locals.
因为两岸三地，这开放大陆探亲，然后交流，然后金门小三通，这样的一个20几年来，都觉得非常的平和。偶尔有一些无人机的一些造访，我想在老百姓的心中，觉得好像已经家常便饭，没有什么太大的一个恐惧感。
The relaxed attitude of Kinmen's residents may seem like an issue for Taiwan's national security, but experts say it won't harm the country's overall defense. The front line of any potential modern-day war would be Taipei, and the first actual battleground has already moved to cyberspace.
新形态的战争的形态中，它国境或者说所谓边界的这样的概念越来越模糊。 即使上物理上的边界仍然存在，但事实上战争的进行已经从这种物理性慢慢进入到心里面。
The mood is very different on the main island of Taiwan. This class is helping people learn how to defend against psychological warfare. It's organized by Kuma Academy, one of several NGOs to have started offering civilian defense classes after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. During large-scale Chinese military drills around Taiwan in August, the organization received more than $31,000 in a single day from crowdfunding. The training it offers includes information warfare, first aid, and evacuation. Participants include people of all ages.
We have a better neighbor, and we always bothered by our neighbor. It's very difficult situation, and we must pay attention to our situation, not only military, economic, political, but also conscious level.
而且我觉得对女性来说，其实有蛮多资讯是我们从来没有学过的。对，就可能就是没有，甚至没有当兵，就是没有完全不知道这些军事的一些知识，所以我觉得对女生来说，更需要知道这些关于就是基本的救护知识啊，或者是避难。
因为俄乌战争之后，基本上看到战争突然发生，所以会想看一下有没有相关民防的措施的活动吧。我们这种顶多就只是协防或者是民防，它不会这么专业，但是我们要知道一些基础知识而已。
While the perception of China's threat is very different for people in Kinmen and Taiwan proper, the residents of both are equally reluctant to actually go to war. There's a common saying at the Kuma Academy combat workshops: just because you buy fire insurance doesn't mean you want your home to burn. For most Taiwanese, the hope is that they'll never need to rush for a fire extinguisher. Damon Lin, Patrick Chen, and Eugene Huang for TaiwanPlus.
People across Taiwan are heading to the polls on November 26th in nationwide local elections. But what's on the ballot? Jaime Okan has the details.
They're called the 9-in-1 elections. That means voters can choose who they want to represent in 9 different local elections. That's more than 11,000 seats up for grabs. Everything from neighborhood chiefs all the way to the heads of Taiwan's 22 cities and counties. There are even positions specifically for indigenous people. In fact, the only offices not on the ballot are the president and lawmakers. This year, all eyes are on the race for Taipei mayor. It's hotly contested, and many see it as a stepping stone to the presidency. In fact, 3 of Taiwan's last 4 presidents were Taipei mayor before taking the top office in the nation. Now, it's not just candidates that are on the ballot this year. There's also a special referendum on whether to lower the voting age from 20 down to 18. Taiwan's legislature has already approved the move, but it needs to pass a referendum because it would change Taiwan's constitution. There's a high bar for it to pass, though. It still needs the support of at least half of Taiwan's eligible voters. That's nearly 9.7 million people. At first glance, Taiwan's 9-in-1 elections may look like it's only a local affair, but many people see it as a referendum on the current administration, led by President Tsai, with implications for the next election in 2024. Leon Lien and Jaime Okan for TaiwanPlus.
Now you know what's being voted on, but how do Taiwanese cast their ballots? Jaime Okan explains.
Step 1. Make sure you're eligible to vote. You need to be a citizen and at least 20 years of age. Now on election day, you're going to have to travel to the place where you're registered. At the polling station, you'll need these 3 items: your national ID, your voter notification form, and this one's for Taiwan, your CHOP. That's a stamp with your name carved into it. You'll need this to pick up your ballots. Now, if you thought choosing a candidate was hard, that's just a start. Try filling out the ballot properly. Use the CHOP that's inside the booth, not the one you brought with you. And with a steady hand, make sure you stamp inside the lines, not outside, not in both boxes, and no thumbprints, no signatures, and don't take it personally, don't use your own CHOP. Once you're done voting, you're free to stick around and watch the results come in. Officials will actually open up the boxes and hold the ballots up one by one for everyone to see. Now that's democracy in action. Leon Lien and Jaime Okan for TaiwanPlus.
In a battle for votes, candidates across Taiwan are heading the campaign trail hard. It's no different on the outlying county of Kinmen, where both top contenders are focusing their campaigns on ties with China. Eric Gao has more.
Building bridges. The opening of the Kinmen Bridge just a few weeks ago was a major achievement for incumbent County Chief Yang Zhengwu. The 5.4-kilometer-long structure is the longest sea bridge in Taiwan and connects Kinmen's 2 main islands. Yang, a member of the Kuomintang, is now looking to reopen trade, postal, and transport connections with China to boost his re-election prospects.
我们在产业上，小三通因为疫情暂停的这几年，直接的经济损失就高达70-80亿，那总体的这个影响更是超过100亿，所以对于金门乡亲来讲，这个是一个很急迫要开通的。
While many places in Taiwan are wary of closer ties with China, Kinmen is different. The county lies only a few kilometers from China, and islanders often share close family and business ties with the nearby Chinese city of Xiamen. That's why Yang's main rival, independent Chen Fuhai, whom he unseated in the last election 4 years ago, has a similar proposal.
我当选以后，一定会全金门先普筛，把一些科学的数据然后做一个依据。疫情可控之下，两边都来谈，为了要让我们新住民可以探亲回家乡，那我想用专案专班应该可以突破。
In the 2018 vote, Yang beat Chen by just 1.5%. The November 26 results will determine which of them returns to the county's top seat. Leon Lien and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
In the southern city of Kaohsiung, all 4 mayoral candidates are promising to improve air quality, something residents have demanded for years. But as Taiwan's local elections approach, the issue has attracted both policy proposals and political wrangling. John Van Trieste reports.
Another hazy day in the southern city of Kaohsiung. With more than 2.5 million locals, Kaohsiung is Taiwan's 3rd most populous city. It's also a hub for oil refining, steelmaking, power generation, and much else that fuels the country's industrial sector. This output makes for poor air quality throughout the year, but weather patterns and local terrain mean October to March is when the air is at its worst. Air pollution in Kaohsiung has been causing problems for years. Just this weekend, city officials told factories to cut emissions after residents were advised to limit outdoor activities. With local elections looming, pollution has become a major political issue. All 4 mayoral candidates have pledged to improve air quality. Incumbent Chen says he's focused on making existing power plants more environmentally friendly.
气电共生厂在2025年，我们希望说全部能够脱煤，那新达电厂在2025年呢，也能够这个提早除役。
But Chen's main rival has questioned his track record on pollution.
台中有一个生煤的自治条例，但是很抱歉，它在2020年的3月的时候就被行政院给废止。那时候呢，我们的陈市长是副院长。
Taiwan's local elections will take place on November the 26th. For 8 years, environmental groups have taken to the streets of Kaohsiung demanding cleaner air. They hope by placing emphasis on the issue just days before local elections, it will ensure officials tackle the city's air pollution problem for good. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up, some good fortune. Find out how predicting the future could also win you a cash prize at one Taiwanese temple.
所以你觉得山给了你什么？
没有办法用几句简短的话语来带过，但它造就现在的我。
山就是给了一个我们远离世俗的环境，你可以忘记很多事情。
不要怕去探索新的东西吧。
很深层的去认识一块土地，去认识一个很深邃的自然。
在山的面前，你只会一直感觉到自己的渺小。
每次都有不同的考验哦。
妈妈表现怎么样？
很好，10分坚强。
山是有魔力的地方。那如果今天不让你爬山，你觉得你会死？
生命肯定会延续下去，但我想心灵有一部分会枯萎掉了。
I'm Rick Loud for TaiwanPlus. For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Now for the latest headlines from around the world. At least 6 people were killed in a suspected terror attack in Istanbul on Sunday. Dozens were also injured in an explosion on a busy shopping street in Turkey's largest city. Authorities say the bomber may be a woman who was seen leaving the area minutes before the blast. A suspect has been taken into custody. The same area was targeted by a suicide bomber in 2016. Taiwan has expressed its condolences to Turkey's representative in a country over Sunday's blast. The Hong Kong's government is demanding a full investigation after the Asia Rugby Sevens tournament in South Korea played a popular pro-democracy protest song from the city instead of China's national anthem. Glory to Hong Kong became an anthem to the widespread pro-democracy protest in the territory in 2019. But the song is now forbidden in the city following Beijing's imposition of a sweeping national security law as part of a crackdown on opposition. Organizers Asia Rugby have apologized and said a junior staffer was to blame for the mistake. In Europe, unusually high temperatures in the Mediterranean Sea have shrunk local fishers' catches. This time of year is normally the sea's biggest fishing season, but heat waves throughout the region between June and September have raised the water's temperature by 2 to 5 degrees Celsius. The warmer waters, which reached 31 degrees Celsius, have killed off fish populations and disturbed breeding patterns. Disruptive species that favor higher temperatures are also wreaking havoc on local ecology. While unusually hot weather has hurt fishing stocks in Europe, fishers on Taiwan's outlying Penghu Islands are preparing for a busy winter season. As temperatures start to drop, migratory fish are making their way to the waters around Penghu. Their arrival has brought out fishing enthusiasts looking to make big catches. the Chinese drum and greater amberjack are among the most sought-after species, and those coming out to cast a line can also make good money.
这个鲶鱼是最昂贵的鱼，它以这个体型10公斤的鲶鱼来讲的话，一条啊都到卖价都在7、8千块左右。那也只有这个季节最肥美，那就大家都会来这边钓鱼。
An annual temple festival in southern Taiwan has attracted thousands of visitors. In addition to seeking blessings from the gods, many came to take part in a challenge promising a large cash reward. John Van Trieste has this report.
Tainan's Nanquin Temple attracts big crowds this time of year. A shrine to 5 gods known as the Nanquin Kings, part of a Taiwanese folk religion, the temple hosts a large festival every October or November. The 3-day event includes fireworks, traditional performances, and local handicrafts. But this long line of visitors is waiting for something else. This throwing competition allows contenders a chance to win the equivalent of around $11,000 US. The challenge is so easy, even young children can take part. Each person gets a pair of red blocks carved into the shape of crescent moons. In temples, worshippers throw these to the ground. The way the objects land is believed to show the gods' answers to the participants' questions and prayers. If one block lands flat side up and the other round side up, it indicates that the god's answer is yes or okay. In this challenge, the goal is to keep throwing the blocks and see how many times in a row you can get this combination.
2天的宝贝，我可能预估的话，可能会这样，看能不能突破上万人。
It took a while, but a winner was found. She threw the right combination 14 times in a row. But she was not alone in winning divine favor. In total, the temple gave away more than $16,000 US in cash prizes, giving visitors a chance to enjoy the area's rich culture and take home a little cash. Patrick Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Bento boxes are one of the most popular meals served to people taking train journeys throughout Taiwan. And this weekend, these meal boxes were celebrated at the annual Formosa Railroad Bento Festival. Thousands of visitors attended to try out some of Taiwan's most famous travel foods and to say goodbye to an iconic type of bento box, which is soon to be phased out. Our reporter Sandy Chi was there.
Break out the bento boxes. Their ringing marks the start of the 2022 Formosa Railroad Bento Festival. The 4-day event kicked off at the main train station in Taipei on Friday, after taking a 1-year hiatus because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Over 120,000 people attended the culinary occasion, which was organized by the Taiwan Railways Administration, or TRA. In a country where trains crisscross the island, the Bento Box Festival is a celebration of how food and travel combined form an integral part of Taiwanese culture.
那铁道便当，除了美味以外，最重要它是在我们旅游中带来独有的这个饮食它是把铁道旅游跟饮食文化把它结合会让我们的铁道之旅更丰盛
The word bento translates to meal box. Originating from Japan, these food boxes became common in Taiwan in the early 20th century, when the country was under Japanese colonial rule. By the 1940s, bento boxes had become a staple meal for people taking train rides throughout Taiwan, and their popularity hasn't waned. The TRA sold more than 10 million bento boxes in 2019, around 28,000 each day. Festival organizers say some enthusiasts were showing up as early as 5 in the morning on opening day to check out the boxes on offer.
And the line is massive. As you can see behind me, most of the people are here for one meal in particular that will make its last appearance at the event.
First appearing around 2 decades ago, these traditional 8-sided boxes are one of the more recognizable meals served on Taiwan's trains. But they're soon to cease production. The TRA says it will be retiring the famous 8-sided boxes. Some festival goers are taking this opportunity to say goodbye to these iconic food boxes.
它这个八角便当，以前就是很有名。那它这个铁路节过了之后，它就不再卖了，所以特别来买这个当做一个纪念。从小时候就开始吃了，每次坐火车都会吃。
Despite saying a fond farewell to the 8-sided boxes, the festival also welcomed some new arrivals. Among them, these limited edition porcelain bentos. Even representatives from the East Japan Railway Company had flown over to show off their Shinkansen bento boxes.
These meal boxes have developed their own unique culture in Taiwan. For customers old and new, they remain an iconic food option in the country, giving them a taste of history. Andy Xue and Tan Li Chi at Taipei Main Station for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan on Monday reduced mandatory quarantine for people who test positive for COVID from 7 days to 5. Anyone who tests negative after those 5 days can resume their normal lives. Otherwise, they'll need to continue with self-health management, limiting their attendance at events with lots of people. Taiwan's Pandemic Response Task Force on Monday also axed a rule that required workers in 24 high-risk fields to have at least 3 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine. These latest changes come as Taiwan continues to strip back what were some of the strictest coronavirus pandemic measures in the world. Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we take you on a boat ride to enjoy the sea views of Penghu, the largest archipelago in Taiwan. I'm Betty Chen. Take care and see you next time.